Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com, your daily market recap, January 11th, 2024. Like, subscribe. Let's see what SPY and Friends brought us today. SPY on the daily. CPI came out. SPY pre-market went down, held the 473 during hours, went back up. Now, this is the scenario on the SPY that I'm observing. Of course, I want to avoid this scenario. We will avoid the scenario, only a weekly close above the 478. But we always need to prepare for both sides. We have a double top scenario on the SPY. Weekly close below this 473. We will see 468. Below 468, we need to hold the 466. I'm talking scenarios for the coming 2-3 weeks. Below 466, we will see this double top scenario going to the 454. Always prepare for both sides. This scenario will get negated only above the 480, and then we will see 484 and 493. Always prepare for both sides. Never be biased. Ignore the news. Trade what you see and use Fibonacci and trend lines to help you prepare for future price action. This is how the SPY looked on the 15 minutes today. We drew these trend lines in the premium room. You're most welcome to join us in the premium room, exclusive lounge room, Hebrew, English, 6 days free trial. Check the link in the first comment or on my X account. Check it out. This 6 days free trial promotion will end Friday after the closing bell. So take advantage now. We have broadening formation on the 15 minutes. Went down, went up. Broadening formation now on the 65 minutes. This is what we have. If you are a pattern trader, pattern seeker, what do we see? Some kind of a cup handle on the 65, but cup and handles and all those imaginary patterns don't exist. What does exist? True price action Fibonacci. What do you see? Double top scenario over here on the 65 minutes will get negated. Only weekly close above the 477. QQQ went up and closed above the 409 area. Now let's see continuation towards the 413. Above 413, we will see 424. This is how the Qs looks on the weekly. Basically, Qs going sideways since middle of December. 396 holding a support, 413 resistance. Weekly close above the 413, and we will see 434, sorry, and then 463. And if you delete Fibonacci, what do you get? The road north. Trend lines. Resistance, support, resistance. This trend line, support. This middle trend line, support, support, resistance, support. That's it. This is all we need to know. The in-depth relationship between candlestick analysis, aka price action, and multi-time frames, Fibonacci, and trend lines. Once we master these three concepts, we will be professional traders. We will become profitable traders. We will have a consistent system. So if you want to learn it, check the links in the description below. Join me. One of my goals, my top 5 goals during 2024 is help each and every one of you that wants to get to be professional trader, not only professional technical analysis side. I can teach you in 90 minutes. All the rest, how to trade what you see, takes time, takes dedication. It's a bumpy road. I've been there, I've done it, I know what most of you are going through. It took me 2 years until I found the strategy, the set of rules that works for me. Technical side and the mental side. So join me 6 months from now. You will become a professional trader. Whether you want to be day trading or swing trading, whether you want to trade whatever you want. 6 months from now, one-on-one live mentorship program with me, English, Hebrew, choose your language. Lifetime access for support. I guarantee I will support you for lifetime. I will guide you for lifetime. Just take it. Take my help. Dow Jones, inside this red box, 378. Tough resistance, above it 390. Below this red box, we will see 366. IWM, holding, strong. Bulls of IWM struggling with all they have to stay above this trend line, because they know if this trend line will go broken to the downside, we will see 188, 184, and 180 to the downside. We need a weekly close inside this road, and then we will see this gap at the 198 getting filled. Bitcoin, news, no news, ETF, no ETF. You know these trend lines. These trend lines are holding strong. Resistance. If bulls will give up, trying to break above this red line, we will go back to retest this lower red line. Ignore the news. Trade what you see. You don't care the news because you are technical analyst. You are a trader. You don't trade the news. You trade price action. You trade what Fibonacci and trend lines tell you to trade. Ethereum 2570 support. Below it 2470, and then back to this white trend line. Carry with 1.3% to the downside. Broke below the long-term uptrend channel. Now entered a shorter term downtrend channel. Trend lines. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You need to master your trend lines. You need to master your candlestick analysis and multi-time frames. Long on KRE, weekly close above the 43 area. But as long as KRE is inside this channel, this white channel, the road is south. Crude oil, once again, trying to break above this downtrend channel. Let's see weekly close above the 74, and then we will see 76 to the upside. Above 76, we will go back to 82. Natural gas, moving sideways, but holding strong above the 310. Next resistance, 340, and then 380 to the upside. Gold, basically moving sideways, nothing much. 2014, together with this trend line, bulls are having trouble to stay above and inside this uptrend orange trend line. Below the 2014, we will see 1976 to the downside. Below this one, we will see 1930. SOXX, weekly sideways move, 552 holding. We have this trend line, and as long as SOXX is above this white trend line, we are good to go long on SOXX. Let's see continuation above 566, closing this gap, and then 584 will be the next resistance. Below this area, below this white trend line, below the 545, 542, we will see this gap at the 523 getting filled. XBI, a perfect example, another perfect example of why we should learn our trend lines. They are the true support resistance and future roadmap for price action. Touched bounce, long continuation above the 92, and then we will see 100 to the upside. Like, subscribe, share with friends. Check the links in the description below for more educational resources. Apple 185 holding, below it 180, closing above the 188. We need not only a weekly closing above the 188, check the weekly. Inside week, we need to close above previous week's highs. We need to close above the 188.60, 189, and then with high probability this gap will get filled. If we will see a weekly close inside week on Apple, most likely, high probability, next week we will visit 178 to the downside. Nvidia, this is how Nvidia looks on the weekly. This is how Nvidia looks on the daily. Surprise, surprise. Trend lines. You know these trend lines. We drew them a few days back. And here we are. Doji off a trend line. Look left. What happens every time? When price action, Doji meets a trend line. This trend line. Doji, pullback. Doji, 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 pullback. Doji. Do not be surprised if next week we will see some kind of a pullback on Nvidia. Towards where? No one knows. Take Fibonacci. Fibonacci will let you know. Below 535, 522. Below 522, 503. Fibonacci, candlestick analysis, trend lines, multi-time frames. AMD 145 holding a support, 151 resistance. This is how AMD looks on the weekly. 150, very tough resistance. 135, 130, 140 needs to hold, otherwise 135 and 132 to the downside. We have some kind of a double top scenario on AMD. You can see it on the weekly, you can see it on the daily. Below this area, below the 141, together with this orange trend line, where AMD might be heading next. Always prepare for both sides. Do not and never be biased. If you will be biased as a trader, you will get wiped out. All this area, very important area of support. Look here, look left. It was support and resistance. The 136, 141, support and resistance. Breaking below this area, and you will get the same price action you saw over here to the upside. You will see the same price action to the downside. Quick look on an AMD trade we had today in the premium room. This is in the Hebrew premium room, but we took the same thing in our English premium room. We have rooms for English, we have rooms for Hebrew, so no more excuses. We have rooms in multi-languages, free 6 days trial, and as you can see, we took long on AMD. This premium member, not finished yet, and I said it's going up to 147.85, and where AMD ended? 148. It's all about candlestick analysis, multi-time frames. Tesla finally closed this gap. This gap, ladies and gentlemen, is closed. We knew it. We saw it coming. Check previous videos. Now, next support will be this white trend line. Shopify, 2 consecutive dojis. Shopify needs some rest. Shopify also have this trend line resistance coming up. As you can see, resistance for the higher highs. Some kind of a pullback. It'll be very, very healthy on Shopify. Breaking above, weekly close above this area and next week 91, and then above 100. Netflix, Fibonacci trend lines. They are the true support resistance for price action. Tried to break up and above, got rejected. This trend line, resistance, support, and once again resistance. Doji, Netflix. This is how Netflix looks on the weekly. And as you can see, 482 area needs to hold the support. Below it, this is the resistance, the 503, 504. Below this area, below the 482, we are heading to the 466. And then 454, where Netflix will head up above the 503. Take Fibonacci on the weekly. Next, 537, 585, and somewhere in the future, Netflix will hit 746. Why? Because we have Fibonacci that tells us that we are heading north. If Netflix will head north, Netflix will hit the 746 together with this orange trend line. Amazon broke above the 154. These boxes are not relevant anymore, but closed with a doji, which means indecision. Not surprising, very tough resistance. Bulls pushed up, bears want to push back down. We ended up with a doji. Look at the intraday. This is how Amazon on the intraday 65 minutes basically hold above the whole day. Most of the day held above the 154. This is how it looks on the 15 minutes. Gap up, close the gap. More than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled. We have another gap over here, so be prepared. This gap also needs to get filled. When? No one knows. Most likely it will get filled. 154 is holding. Amazon on the weekly looks very good for long continuation. Meta, you know these purple trend lines. We drew them way back, few weeks back, and once again, great example. Trend lines, support, resistance for future price action. Where Meta will head next above, if Meta will finally break above these purple trend lines, Fibonacci, you guessed it. You see Fibonacci with trend lines. This is the extension together with trend lines. Resistance above this area, it's always an area. It's never an exact price. When you are talking about trading, when you are talking about support resistance, it's always areas of support and resistance. It's never an accurate price. All this area, 733, 734, together with these trend lines, sorry, breaking above, 391 to the upside and Meta. Overall, Meta on the weekly, look at this. We have a roadmap to the north. And this green line from resistance now became support. Next, long continuation. And we will see 400 and above on the weekly. Google, slowly grinding up. 144 is the resistance, very tough one. Weekly close above it, and we will see 160 to the upside in the next 2 weeks. Microsoft, last but not least, once again on the weekly, trying to break above the 385, failing to do so. This is how it looks on the daily. Broke above the 383 area. Now with a doji, this 384, 383 needs to hold the support. Then we will see 407, weekly close below the 383 and 376, 375. This area will become from tough resistance, it will become support. Check the links in the description below. Join me. I will teach you how to become a professional trader in the first 6 months. Yes, 6 months. It takes patience. It takes dedication. Join me. And I promise I will do anything in my power to help you first to take care of your money. If you don't take care of your money, no one else will do it for you. Look at this trend line. Doji of a trend line. What do we know once a doji meets a trend line? Rejection and a pullback is in the cards. Join me on this magnificent, tough but magnificent road, because in the end of the road, there is no end of the road. It's a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly struggle. But once you find that sweet spot, I will help you find this sweet spot. Once you find that sweet spot, you will have financial freedom. No more excuses. Check the links in the description below in the first comment. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, share with friends. Until the next video, stay safe.